Good day, YouTube. It is the 4th of December, 2023. Doing something a little different today. I know the lighting's not good because I have to shut the lights off so you can see this at all. But what we're going to do, this has kind of been a prototype, but it's been hanging up there too long. You can see this piece of strut and then this electric winch right there. This is a trolley system that just put together in an effort to like pull the engine out of a front engine garden tractor, vintage John Deere and stuff. They use cast iron engines. They're fairly heavy. It's not something you can really lift depending on the size. And also I've done engine swaps where I've put the engine on a cart or on the ground right here, and I want to be able to lift it up, roll it over, and put it in. Next for this crane operation, if you will, is to lift this upper structure off of my 55 Cushman that I've been building. If you haven't been following that build, it's on a playlist on my channel called 55 Cushman Truckster. Videos all the way back to when I first got this thing. But over time, I've gone from a manual come along to the electric winch, and I have had fasteners fasten the strut to the ceiling through the center. Okay, well, the trolleys that I have supporting the winch hit the screws, so I went to really small screws and washers, so there's really very little holding this into the ceiling, and it's time to fix that so it doesn't come crashing down on me. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So I need to get up and take the winch down. You can see I've got two trolleys on it, and you can get those on Amazon. They're really in like a Unistrut or Super Strut catalog. They're not cheap, but you got to have what you got to have. And there's basically like 4 wheels on each one, so they ride on the inside of that channel. I'll show you a closer view when we get that far. And then I've bolted those with eye bolts to a lower channel and put the winch on it. I left this a little long. I didn't cut it off for a couple reasons. One, I could hang a hook and support the controller from it out there above my head, something like that. I just felt like, why cut it off? I might be able to use that for something. So anyway, I think number one, I'll get up and we'll get the winch off. Number two, I'm going to mark where all the studs are. It's in a perfect spot. I don't want it to go further that way or further closer because it's in a really good spot for like lifting this structure. If I would come straight down, it's right there. That center of this, probably this is more center of the weight, but I'm just barely sitting on the lift, so I have opportunity to move that. So, and then for taking engines off the floor, bringing them up, putting them in a garden tractor or something that is pointed forwards, that works. Anything I need to pick up off the floor and set onto the lift, I can do that. So it's in a good spot. So all I really need to do now is get it better supported, and to do that, I'm going to mark all the studs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on both sides of the strut. We're going to cut a piece of flat bar, and then we're going to weld it to the back and then drill 2 holes in it so that I can put proper lag screws on both sides of the strut and leave the inside of it completely free and clear so the trolley rolls the winch. Right now it hangs up. Let me drop this down a minute. Oh yeah. Oh, I have that for a reason tied into my lights. I put a plug up there. I have my cord reel plugged into it and this winch plugged into it. If I'm doing soldering or hot glue or something like that, I always plug into that. If the phone rings and I gotta go, I shut the lights off and it shuts the power off, and I don't have to worry about, did I shut that off? Did I unplug that? Blah, 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 blah. So this thing hangs up when it goes like that. I can wiggle it a little and I can get it to go past, but what a pain in the butt that is. It needs to roll freely all the way to one side and all the way to the other. It doesn't do that currently, and it's just in there with screws, and they're on really little washers because I was trying to bury them up in there so that trolley would clear. It's been spooky. Hasn't fallen off yet, but today's the day to fix it before I go and lift this. All right, let me get a ladder. Let me get that thing out of there. All right, we got it all removed safely. Winch on the ground. All right, I've marked out where all the studs are, so I know where to weld my metal pieces in. I got almost all of them cut. Got one left to do. Let's get that cut. Then we'll drill some holes in it, and then we'll weld them on. Right. All right, I'm going to clean up the edges real quick, and then we'll drill some holes. All right, last hole. We're drilling 3 at a time just to save time. Right. There we go. We got our stuff all drilled. We'll get them set up. Let's get them welded on. All right, we got those all welded, and we're going to let this cool, clean them up a little bit, and let's get it put up. All right, I have it back up there. That's not completely molded down yet. What I did was took a screw gun, screw washers and such, and got a screw in there, left it, super loose, set it down. I actually rested on top of the roof of the truckster, went over on the other side, did the same thing, put it up, screwed it. I did take a quick measurement. I got it fairly square. It's within 1/4 of an inch. It was like 2 inches out of square before, because I had so much stuff on this lift last time I dealt with that. But anyway, I've got the 2 supports on that end yet to do. Thought I would show you the strut. So there's different manufacturers of strut. We just call it strut. This is what we call engine 5/8 strut with slotted holes. And this is galvanized finish. You can get gold finish, you can get painted finish, powder coat finish. You could get all kinds of different finishes. You can get 7/8 strut, which is what that piece is right there. This engine 5/8 strut. This is Super Strut. That's the brand. There's Unistrut, Kindorf, Super Strut, B-Line. There's lots and lots of different manufacturers. They all vary slightly. Usually it's how this is curled. If I remember right, Kindorf doesn't come back up. It just goes out, maybe at an angle. And then their clamps for, clamping pipe and such is a little different. These trolleys, they make different ones. There's the part number for it. Okay, it's a Unistrut part, but it works in Super Strut fine. Super Strut's kind of generic. It kind of fits in between most. If it says strut, fits in Super Strut. Anyway, there's part number if you're interested. These things have a weight limit. I can't remember what it is. I think it's 300 pounds a piece or something. I'm straddling 2 of them, and that works pretty good. So I'm going to put that motor in place right now while I have the ladder there, and then I'm going to put a strut nut and a bolt in the very end of it so that it doesn't go off the end and fall to the floor. So it's a stop. So I'll put a stop at the end to keep that thing from falling off while I got the ladder right there. And then we'll go do this other end, plug it in, and it'll be ready to roll. We'll be ready to pull the top off of the truckster, and it'll take the weight. So I'm using a 1/4 by like 2.5 inch lags. Maybe they're 3 inch or something. I have a substantial quantity of them, so that's what we're using. Yeah, I'd bought a box of them at a yard sale or something. Basically a lifetime supply of lag screws. So oh yeah, we got lags. So that's what we're using. All right, let me get to work. All right, let's get these last few lags put in. We'll put this in the done column. Kind of tight back here, so I can do this without knocking stuff off. Get out of my pocket. I already pre-drilled these, but they wouldn't go in that easy. I gotta take that screw out that I put in there temporarily. That screw. Last lag. Now then, I need to plug it in. I got to put the stop on this end as well. Y'all. Gonna have to find me one. I'll go put the stop in the end, but let me show you. This is a strut nut. If it had a spring on it, which the spring allows you to push it in and turn it, and it'll stay all by itself. If it had a spring, you would call it a spring nut. They also make them with a plastic keeper on them that slides into the strut so that it stays there all by itself. I'm going to use a square washer, okay, a 3/8 by 1 inch bolt, and a strut nut. This is the correct way to put it on, because these little grooves will grab the rails of the strut. So you'll slide it into the strut, you'll turn it about 80 degrees, and then you'll tighten it down, okay? Tighten it real tight, and that'll be my stop on that end, okay? I got the cord hanging over there so I can plug it in while I'm up there. I'll be done in a minute. All right, it is complete, folks. We'll do something a little different with that cord. I'll think about that. Slide all the way up and stop. That's right. And up and down. All right, that's a good project to have done. Been bothering me for a long time that I didn't have that thing permanently mounted, but I do now. It's looking good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate the comments. Remember, I check comments every morning, and I will get back to you in the morning if you comment about this or any other video. And I don't even care what the comment is, related or not to this video. Just make a comment, and we'll chat in the morning. Thumbs up on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to keep working on this Cushman project, and we got some other John Deere projects that I want to get working on too. So it is what it is, guys. Thanks again. See you next time.